I don't know what the fuck had just happened to me. Try to explain it because it's like the nature of the weird factor is so beyond what I would have expected to be the case than anything ever. Like, imagine this. Okay, I had, before I came into my room earlier, maybe it was like before 10 o'clock. It's only been like maybe an hour and a half. But when I came in here, it was basically on the premise of um, I knew some things about the reality would be challenged according to my own personal um, full going relationship to that, which I could adjust myself against whatever the will of the mainframe would be. Okay? Something like that. Let's just say something like that. And, and this had a lot to do with because of the year. Whatever, it's like if you knew the year, you could somehow guide your own path or something like that. And how dramatically it changed upon, um, like, okay, I'd heard that they did this experiment in the 1800s where they just made up somebody and then wanted to see if they could get the same phenomenon of like a haunting, and did a seance and found that they could, but it would be limited to whatever story they wrote about it. All right, so I'd shared that view of that science from that point in time with one person. I told them that. Okay, now based on something slightly different, when I came in here, suddenly the background reality had became that made up stories based upon the choice of who I was trying to honestly aim at, because they wouldn't understand me and had responded a certain way. The whole background reality became the story I told somebody that I knew and had shared it for reasons that were like scientific. And then I came out of the the strange blend between that 2 points into a more brighter reality than I even thought it was before that, if that makes sense. Because the I don't even know how to say what the fuck the feeling of it is. It's because it's based on having some feeling of being in a little bit more of a real place before and trying to get there the right way, and but choosing to go through there, or I don't even know what to say happened, because I would have just gone to sleep, but I laid here and I had the strangest shit talking come out of that reality, because I was gonna lay here and just be naked in my bed without worrying about being like in public naked or something like that. It was so fucking altered, and I had the comedian version for them able to. It was funny in a way, It was funny and it wasn't, because it's like the weirdness of the in between was too strange to tolerate. And like it made me had to go get the baking soda water, shake it off, and come back. So it, like, I'm left thinking that I was so right, and I'm not sure what I was wrong about, but I got it right, if that makes sense. I mean, some of the things I just heard now, I would have never been able to put together or conceive of slightly ahead before. Like, my suspicions were confirmed. I followed my clues, and I'm not even sure what the fuck I worse had lost. If that makes sense. It's hard to even wrap my mind around what the fuck had happened. For real. I based my assumptions on being able to adjust myself, and that the reality would compensate, placing me with a freer version of the person I was trying to do work for, in a way, and everything else changed instead, where I'm not even sure if that's even possible. Not that I'm not open to that, but it's like the whole reality changed, and the experimental pocket universe became the background universe, which would have never been even reasonable to conclude in any way, shape, or form. The whole point of telling the story of the character that they had made, which, mind you, was the reason to build the ghost for defensive purposes of the land on the yard, if that makes sense. Uh, I don't know what the fuck. Other than, I don't even know how to say what the fuck the experience was. You'd have to lay here and imagine yourself just listening to a show, gonna go to sleep like normal, and then have Tom Segura comedy hour where he was telling stories about being in public with a naked lady fingering herself in front of everybody, like an ugly naked lady. It was hilarious, because if I'm the ugly naked lady and scratched my nuts, that's exactly what happened, and it was, again, bizarrely funny, but awkward as hell, and still inappropriate to be in public as an ugly lady. It was so weird. It was so fucking weird. You know? You don't have to be a slightly beer-gutted man to feel uncomfortable if made into a lady for having long hair. Too much. But I don't know what to say other than thank you to the guidance system. I can imagine being going so many other ways that wouldn't be as bad, wouldn't be as good, or as perfectly better than tomorrow will be now. without that, I don't know. I'm not sure where we are, other than I feel like it is very, very, very low from what I know to be possible. And the shit that people are agreeing with to get us all there, I can still honestly say that it's a misarrangement of integrity and agreements with each other on what that our highest self is. True, you know, it's still true. That didn't change. What did change? Um, I first had a real um, very strange feeling that there were no men in the reality I was, because there were no men, and I didn't actually think that was true or whatever. And now I'm like, that had to be true. That had to be true. It's like there was no women were not even. It was like women were breeding them in and just keeping them somewhere else, or something. I don't know how to say it. Like the offense of what I was doing was not even seen by me in the way that I thought I was seeing it, to cause this result. It's so fucking weird, dude. I don't know what to think about it, other than it was an awkward glitch, because something that was so like so far removed from what I would think would be possible or actual, and it became the background base reality of the situation, which is a weird different way to say, yeah, I saw the fucked up nature of reality, steered clear of it, and really cleared it. If there's no other better way to say that. I didn't even want, for a second there, I was like, there's no way I even want to tell anybody. Like, the guy said something, and it was like, they were explaining chess, and I'm like, that's where I was. I was on the chessboard and determined to leave the chessboard. And now I know, like, I did. I left the chessboard. I was in the chessboard. My world I'd left before was the chessboard. It was fucked up. And I remember saying, you can watch the chess game, but don't become the chess piece. And that may not be within your ability to do. Now, that may also still be true. But I'm dizzy. This has dizzied me. Maybe that's why I just wait for the person to tell me they lost me. It's because they became so useful for what their gift was, and so muscle memoried into just responding with the most worst affirmation that you would get. And it came onto my phone, and it totally covered over my conversation with Tammy. And I remember when it was the day I realized and changed the number, and maybe put it in my phone. I'm not sure, because I didn't always have Tammy's phone. Tammy's been on as a subscriber for a long time, but for whatever reason, we became better friends. And if I got the number and it says Tammy in Missouri, the same day that she came over, I noticed it. I looked at it, and I read Tim, Tim, Because Tim was my friend that supposedly committed suicide. That I've been saying, I've been listening to this other show and hearing him, and just don't have the feeling that he's died. Or if he's dead in that body, it doesn't matter, because the Tim that I remember or knew lives. So it's like see, my reality was deranged, and it did lead into, like, if you believe that death is slightly fake or whatever, you had the experience. I would think you would think that it's because that guy was a real person, and that representation of him, like a representation of all of us, isn't the real person. Like when it says in the Bible that the people will be in the end resurrected, everyone will rise from the graves. It was something like that. I was finding more people that I thought were dead were coming out of the state of deadness somehow and being found to be alive. That was happening. That was happening more and more and more. It was kind of weird, because it wouldn't be what you would expect to happen. We're not expecting people just to start coming out of the graves. I don't fucking know. There were phenomenon in the past couple days of a strange sleepiness that's come on, that I know it has to do with this reality bending or something like that. I believe. I don't know exactly how I got onto this track that I'm on, which is still good, but it's a little bit different on how I'm going to get the grounding I believed I had before. I really stood on and could move from, but now I don't expect to find that there no more. Like that, it's like I did act in faith because I had enough building of that faith to take some sort of leap. Like, for real. I don't know. If you ever had a weird experience like that, please let me know, because uh, I'm really feeling weird about it. I don't know if I feel weirder where I'm at, or weirder from what would have been where I was at, where I had come from. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let me know.